Wildlife officials are planning to kill or rehabilitate more than 10,000 wild horses in Australia as part of a new strategy to limit the number of these animals. But scientists have criticized the proposal for not going far enough. There are more than 25,000 wild horses in Australia, based on the 2019 aerial survey, according to the Australian Alps National Parks. Most of these horses, also known locally as brumbies, live in the highlands of Australia, at the crossroads of three regions: New South Wales, NSW, Victoria, and the Australian Capital Territory. Australia's mountainous area covers only 1% of the continent, and is home to a wide range of endangered and endangered species. David Watson, an ecologist at Charles Sturt University in Australia, told Nature. These horses, which are an invading breed in Australia, give birth quickly and cause widespread damage to the local ecosystem. One endangered species is Kosciuszko National Park in NSW, home to more than 14,000 wild horses. The new draft program, released on October 1st by the National Parks and Wildlife Service in NSW, aims to reduce the number of feral horses in Kosciuszko National Park to 3,000. One endangered species is Kosciuszko National Park in NSW, home to more than 14,000 wild horses. The new draft plan number will be available in 32% of the park. Officials say the program will protect the area, while preserving the precious value of brumbies, a controversial concept introduced by 2018 law that identifies as culturally important in the park, despite the area being introduced by European immigrants. Released on October 1st by the National Parks and Wildlife Service in NSW, aims to reduce the number of feral horses in Kosciuszko National Park to 3,000. However, in an open letter released on October 29, 69 scientists from the Australian Academy of Science argued that the draft system leaves too many brushes left, and will not properly protect the park from their effects. Scientists say officials bow to the will of pro-Brumby supporters and ignore scientific evidence. Officials need to listen to science, the latest evidence and recommendations for a better way to protect the park from major damage caused by feral horses, John Shine, president of the Australian Academy of Science, said in a statement. Doing something different will show contempt for Australia's endangered species and species that are facing extinction and threatened by wild horses. In the letter, scientists called on the National Parks and Wildlife Service to reduce the number of burrows to less than 3,000 proposed, and to protect the entire park from wildlife, rather than just 2/3. The NSW government would not have chosen the worst place to allow the horses to roam, Watson said to Nature. Australia's alpine region is home to a number of endangered and endangered species, including hardy galaxies, alpine tree frogs, and large-toothed mice, reports Nature. Two other mountainous regions have taken a very strong step on wild horses. The Australian Capital Territory, bordering the Kosciuszko National Park, has a strict tolerance for wild horses and removes any spills on its borders. On November 1st, Victoria also released its management plan, which aims to completely eliminate all wild horses in high-risk alpine areas, according to ABC News in Australia. This favorite way to get rid of bruises from wild places is to bring them back to the private area. But this is time-consuming and expensive, and only about 1,000 NSW brumbies have been successfully repatriated since 2002, according to Nature. If that approach does not work, officials plan to chase the horses by shooting them in the air, while trained professionals shoot the horses in helicopters. The brumby problem in Australia is similar to the problem of overcrowding of mustangs in nature reserves in the US, according to the New York Times. However, the current law prohibits the demolition of mustangs, so conservationists should rely on sterilization and restoring housing.